Greetings from Cyrus Custom Welding Garage. So I was asked to give an update on the Aero for the Crown Vic and why I placed the hood vent where I did. So we'll see if I can get that. Well, so for the Aero, I haven't done anything lately, unfortunately. I've been working on the 4Runner. I took the 4Runner to Mark Twain National Forest and did some wheeling, and my power steering had been seeping, and then while I was there developed a leak. So I've been working on that. I'll actually give a separate video on what I've done to the 4Runner. But so for Aero testing, I haven't done anything. But for why I placed the hood vent where I did. So let's look at it. Okay, so here's the hood vent, the underside. And when I did the Aero testing in the front, I had those pressure plates. Now, I did the Aero testing before I installed my push bar. So the push bar was not on there. Well, when I did the Aero testing and I placed the pressure plates here, I placed the pressure plates inside inside just before the radiator. I placed it at the front plate, placed it down here. So I had a decent amount of coverage and then I even placed one back here inside the engine bay. Well, when I was measuring those pressures, I got a bunch of pressure here and I had zero pressure in there. So as the wind was coming, as I was driving, the pressures would build up here, and I wasn't getting any flow through the radiator. So what I did is I was like, okay, well, if I'm not getting any flow through the radiator, or very little because the pressure's building up inside the engine bay, let's give the air some place to go. Now, one guy commented, sorry, I don't remember your YouTube tag, but he suggested removing this right here, removing this to let the air go out, which is, it's a good idea. And someone, same guy or another guy actually recommended bending these up so that it gives more of a place for the air to flow. So obviously I have not done that. I'll have to think about if I'm going to do that or not. I don't know. But so why I placed it there, as you can see, I did some inside trimming of the reinforcements. I cut all that out and I placed it right there. Why I placed it there is, so really, this is all the room for the air to go out. Ideally, if I could relocate the fan, and right now it's at an angle, see it's an angle actually pointing down. If I can relocate it so the fan would facing up, that would be ideal. That ain't happening right now. But so when we shut the hood, we can see that I placed the front of it right in line with the fan. Right in line with the fan. Because obviously anywhere up here, no air is getting from the fan. And so I just took it from there, and then I took it all the way to where I thought looked fine. Looking at it, you can see it's going where'd it go? It's hard to do this one-handed. Ow. And in case you haven't noticed, I don't edit my videos, so you get stuck with what you get stuck with what I record. Sorry. I recommend putting on 2x speed and listening to it like that. But so I ended up taking it to about here. From here, actually from here to here. So I figured the air is looking for a place to go, path of least resistance, and I'm giving it some place to exit. I still would love to test it. Maybe I'll get to that this fall. And then I was looking at different designs for hood vents, and I saw some that were coming on the side here. I saw some Crown Vics that that did canines, police interceptors and they kept their cars running, and they would get a big vent, and it would cover pretty much the center all the way across. And honestly, I didn't want to spend the money for a pre-made one. Some of those I saw didn't seem to be that, the fins weren't that big. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in the previous video where I designed this, but I just blue taped it. Used a pencil and a ruler, drew it to what I thought would look nice. And I mean, you can see the angle that I did here. It's kind of the angle of this line, sort of. And then drew a center line. And I mean, so sorry I haven't done any testing on it. I've been busy with that 4Runner, and I'm actually kind of narrowing down on the 4Runner as far as what I need to do. I've been autocrossing it. Autocrossing, not the 4Runner, the Crown Vic. And it was funny, last autocross, I did a fastest time I did was a 51 second, and there was another car there, 03 Mustang, and my time was faster. So she had a 51.5, I think, and I did a 51, and so I was happy. I really need new tires, 200 treadwear tires. I've had 3 seasons on these, and I'm happy with them. These are the Falcons. There we go. They're the Falcons, and the 615s, which for 2025, I guess they discontinued. So I don't know if I'll be able to get the Falcon 615s again. But for 3 years of autocrossing, not too bad. Actually, I'm very happy. But my experience with 200 treadwear tires is limited to this is the only set that I've ever had. So, so I may get something different for next season. I have 2 more autocrosses. One this Sunday, and one in October. I forget which date in October. So that's the St. Louis SCCA and KMT. I've been running. I made this quick disconnect, which I'm glad I did, but I've been leaving it on for autocross. I really like the look. I have another push bar, and I'm thinking of putting that on the putting this on in front of the 4Runner. I don't know. I gotta look at that. So, but all that to say is I did it by eye. I kind of made it look nice. I figured Aero's got to go somewhere. And there you go. That's the update. Thank you for the questions. Sorry again that I haven't done any Aero testing. I did remove the air tabs. I marked them because I was going to do Aero testing and put them back on. But actually, I noticed no difference whatsoever from autocross. And actually, driving on the highway, I think the air tabs were putting pressure on here, which is good, but it kind of messed with my miles per gallon. So I think I'm gonna actually try putting them on the 4Runner and see if they help the 4Runner. What else? Now that I have the 4Runner, any of my travels will be in the 4Runner. So I'm gonna get stiffer springs. A buddy of mine, we switched cars last autocross. I drove his and he drove mine. And the first thing he said is, you need stiffer springs. So with all my suspension work, the upgraded ADTR, front and rear sway bars, the heinous control arms that you can see right there, the Metco, you can't see it, sorry, the Metco Watts linkage, all my upgraded suspension, I still need stiffer springs, and while I'm at it, I'll be lowering it. So stiffer springs and lowering it. If you guys can recommend, so this is a Police Interceptor 2011. I haven't researched any stiffer springs and lowering it yet. I know there's plenty of information out there, but if you guys know stiffer springs, he said I need to increase it by 30%. So if any of you can let me know where I can get stiffer springs, or you know what to get, stiffer springs. And he said I need to get a harness. He's like, you are fighting yourself driving your car. Your body roll is bad, still bad, and with which I thought it was funny because I welded the body to the frame, and I'm like, hey, my body roll's not that bad, and he's like, oh, it's bad. It was funny. And I need to get a harness. He's like, you need to get a 3-point harness, 5-point. His wife does a 3-point harness in their Honda Civic, and it just bolts up, or not bolts up, but anchors up to back here or back there, and he showed me. So next racing season, my goal is to have new tires and stiffer springs and a harness, and that will be my setup. I weighed it. This front sway bar weighs like 40 pounds, and my driving is not that. I mean, I don't notice anything, whether it's 40 pounds or greater. But I mean, hey, you think I should have more traction with extra weight in the front. If anyone's curious, I do run, what is it, 32s in front and 28s? No, in the summer, my PSI for my front is 32 and my rear is 26. That's what I found for these tires. If anyone's curious. That's it. That's the update. And it's getting pretty long. Hopefully you guys are watching this at 2 times speed. I greatly appreciate the interest, and hopefully you guys find the Serenity. And I did name my Forerunner, Trailbreaker. There is a first gen Autobots Transformer that was a Toyota. It was a Hilux 4x4, and it was called Trailbreaker. So I'm going to name this Trailbreaker because I'm stuck in the 80s and best generation. Best decade ever. Music, trucks. I grew up in the 80s, so I love it. So Trailbreaker. All right. Video's almost 16 minutes, so I will catch you all later.